What's going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading, and we are back. We are back with another daily trade review. We are back in the green, and we can smile. We can smile. I didn't really want to smile yesterday doing that video because that was a rough day. I don't mind having red days. I have gotten over that issue long time ago in my young trading career. But it is bad when I don't follow my plan and I don't take my stops. Even if I kind of stray away from my plan on a trade, but I still take the stop, I don't really feel too bad. But when I don't take my stops and I lose 4 times or 5 times what I was supposed to lose on a trade, I kind of feel some way about that. And if you're a trader and you don't, then something is wrong. But yeah, today was a green day. Today was an interesting day in the market. I see the afternoon just tumbled. We took some good put trades today. But I missed some excellent moves in the market. So let's go ahead. Let's pull up the thumbnail watch list real quick, take a peek. And I'm going to be embarrassed to say something real quick, but I'm going to say it just because. We had the 5 on the watch list. I never knew that Facebook was not showing a chart today. I just never paid it no mind. So when I went to set up my screen, it still had FB on there. And it was blank. And I'm like, why the heck is it blank? So I went to Yahoo Finance and I typed in FB and it pulled up Meta Platforms with a ticker of META. I don't know how I missed that, but that tells you that we didn't take no trades on Facebook because there was no chart for it today. But we had the 5, took no trades in here. I will probably go back to getting away from looking at these because I shouldn't be looking at them if they're not meeting my trading criteria. Had AMC on the watch list again, just kind of watching it, seeing what it was going to do for those covered calls that we had. I'll probably be holding those for a minute, especially with AMC kind of holding strong. If you look, a lot of the stocks just tumbled today. But AMC kind of just chopped around. So that was decent. We had Baba on the watch list. We did take trades on Baba today. And we had AUVI. This was on the watch list for a stock trade, which we did take. And if we have time, we'll kind of review that one. I'll kind of show you why I took that trade. And then we had the markets. Will not be taking a trade on the Q. I will not. I just got to keep saying that to myself. And then we had the SPY. Took trades on the SPY. 2 losers, 2 red trades. When we review them, one of them should have been a green trade. And we'll discuss why that was not the case when we get to reviewing it. But that was the watch list. Let's go ahead. Let's get TRADERVUE pulled up. Let's take a peek, see what we were looking at. Look at the details. Reviewing trades for June 9th, Thursday. We took 7 trades today. Closed P&L in the green, 103. As I stated, took 2 SPY trades. Both of those were red. Both of those were within our limits. We didn't have that big $125 loss like we did yesterday that I'm still shaking my head on. And then the rest of them were all Babas. You see some small Baba ones in there. Those were ones we were moving our stops up. I still was kind of, I don't know, I had a little apprehension still today for some reason. So as trades were getting in the green, I was kind of trying to lock profit in. And that may have been somewhat due to the first SPY trade that we took, which should have been green. And then we let that last one work. We let that last one work pretty good. So that is what we were looking at today. So let's go ahead. Let's get the charts pulled up. Let's make sure we good. We have it pulled up like we want it. And if you have not already hit that like button, please do so. Please hit that like button. Doesn't cost you a thing and it will greatly help me out. Also, think about subscribing if you're just checking me out for the first time. Think about subscribing. Every day, I try to get these recaps done in the same day while it's still fresh on my mind. And I can learn from them, and possibly you can learn something from them. So, without any further delay, let's get crack-a-lacking. So, first trade of the morning, we took it at 9:41. And this was a put play. This was a put play. Let's get it over there. There we go. Let's not do that. Let's just do that. So, all right, we see that the SPY opened ugly. It's chopping all around. It's not really a pretty chart to be trying to trade on, I will admit. But let's see where we were at. We got in this one at 9:41. So we got in this one as it was breaking VWAP. Again, we want to see confirmation. We want to see confirmation. So somewhat haphazardly entry. Nothing was really given signals to take this trade right here. But we took it and we were green. We were green a good bit, y'all. This was a actual green trade. We stopped out of this trade at 9:48, 7 minutes later. 9:48 as this came back up. And we only took one contract on this one. So, and I noted this one was green because after I flick back over to it on the flexible grid active trader window, you could see how high in the profit it had gotten up to. So this had been in the green $25, one contract. We had took the one because we're getting in a little late on there. We wanted to give it a little extra room, which we see it came back up, stopped us out for the 25. So that was the little room that we needed. If we'd have had two contracts, it's been a $50 loss on this one. But I got in the trade, I set my brackets, and I set my target down here for 2-to-1. 2-to-1 on my money. It went 1-to-1 on my money, rolled back over, stopped me out, and I wasn't looking at this trade as it was going on. Got in it, set the brackets, and then I went back to looking at AUVI, which I was trading in my main account. By the time I flipped back over, I was still in the trade, but it had given back up all of the gains that we was in, unrealized, of course. And then it just stopped me out. So that was the first trade of the morning. Should have been a green or break even. Won't even say green, but once I'm in the money 1R, usually I'll bring my stop up to break even or wherever the pullback would have been at on a clean entry. So on a clean entry, let's say that this ran down to here, it came back up to here, and then it might start making a move. I'll drag my stop down to where that pivot was at. Sometimes the pivot is break even. Sometimes it's a little past break even. Sometimes it might be a $5 loss. But I do that because if it breaks that pivot coming back up, 9 times out of 10 it's going to roll over. But wasn't paying attention to that one. Just had my bracket set. And this not being a good trade, it did what it was supposed to do. Rolled over, stopped me out. But take the stop. Take the stop. We took the stop. All right. Next trade. We're going to let's go ahead and get this other SPY one out of the way so we're not jumping back and forth. So next SPY trade, this was a put again. Took this one at 10.09. So let's see what we were saying at 10.09. Still looks choppy. Still looks choppy. Bam. All right. So just as I suspected, we're still in this little chop fest. We're still in this range. No confirmation that this is moving to the downside. We get in right here. Nope, can't say that. I was going to say a possible good entry is that it breaks the previous day's low, but you got VWAP right there. So that was going to somewhat maybe act as resistance. But we got in right there. Look, it made another pop to where we would have been in the green. Got out of this one at 10.15. Thing with this trade is, if we are watching it and truly watching it, I would have known to get out of this trade knowing that this is going to come to about right here. Look at where it came to. When it came back up here, should have been getting out right here for whatever that little gain is. Because one, shouldn't have been in the trade because it was not a good entry, not a pattern. But once we saw that this was not going to break this point right here, you had a point here, you had this point here. Once this came to right here, didn't set a new low. Yeah, we should have been out of that right there. For whatever that gain was. Hindsight, I can see these things as I'm reviewing. My goal is to get better at seeing them real time so that I don't take the trade. This was 2 contracts. We lost $16 on this trade right here. And those were our 2 SPY trades of the morning. But let's take a peek real quick at the full picture on the SPY. Look at that. And look at what it did. So we see it came, didn't break it, didn't break it, didn't break it, didn't break it. It came back up to the previous day's low, which was also right where the 50 was at. Came back down. It didn't break it. This time it came to VWAP. Sellers got back control of it. It came back down. And look at what happened when it broke it. When it broke it, it broke it. And these are what I was talking about. So let's say that I got in this trade as it breaks this area. And it makes this move. And then it makes the pullback and it makes that move. I will take my stop, which will be up here. I'll move it to break even at that point once it's made this move. And then when it makes this move and it makes this pullback and it comes here, I'll move my stop to right here now. And like, so when you hear me saying I'm chasing, that's what I'm doing so that I'm locking in. And then it just tanked. At that point, I'm just moving it as it's going down, trying to capture what I can capture. And then I might move it here and then it might come back and roll me back up. But that's what I should have been doing here on if they were good trades. But they weren't good trades, so they didn't give me the opportunity to kind of reset my stops. But that's what you see there when you just see a sell-off. And the thing to do is, as the morning comes along, if I was still trading that, I would have came there and dropped a line. Look at that. I'm dropping it based on this candle. But look when you come across there. And I always say that it's an area. So even though that line is right there, I know that you're going to get some slippage a few times. You're going to get these little bottoming tails where it's breaking, peekabooing. So it just basically traded in that range all day. I said it yesterday, look at that as a pipe, put a cap on it. When it finally pierces that pipe, that pressure has to go somewhere. That pressure went to the downside today. Yesterday it was one where we saw it busted out the top. Pressure went to the top side. But that's how I kind of envision that when it's playing out like that. But those were our 2 SPY trades. Let's go ahead. Let's take a peek at Baba. I want to say the first one on Baba was a call. It definitely was. So let's go ahead and get those back bigger so we can see them a little easier. And this one here, we got in at 10 o'clock and 57 seconds. So almost 10:01. So this finished about right there. We got in about right there. So let's take a look at it over here. Baba opened, curled, came up, and then kind of started flagging. Wasn't a clean flag, but it was setting lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. It's almost like a shakeout. Popped up, get you in the trade. But buyers had stepped back in on it, and we got in right here as it broke this area. And we got out of this one at 10:02. We got out 2 minutes later. Right there. As it was coming back. Once it made this move, we moved our stop up to break even. Actually capturing a little bit more than break even. Came back, tagged us out. Made a little bit more of a move, not much, but that was high of day. It set high of day at 10:04. So made $8 on that trade. Nothing spectacular, but again, it was a green trade. And we see it was a, say, fairly decent exit on it. And then we went right back to it though. We got back in this one at 10:03. So got out, like, okay, maybe it wasn't done. We got out 10:03, 19 seconds. So we got back in right there, 2 contracts. We got back out a minute later, almost 2 minutes, 10:04 and 53 seconds. So now as it's coming back down, more so at the bottom of that candle, it made the pop. It didn't keep going, rolled over. And we got out of this one pretty much break even, $2. Made $2 on it. So that was it. That was the end of that move going high. Let's see where we get in on our next one. And if you knowing anything, the rest of these were green trades. This didn't go any higher. So, you know, we were playing puts at this point. We got in these at 10:16. So let's see where 10:16 was at. No, I am sorry. This was a call. 10:16 and 7 seconds. Bam. So came up, flagged, made this move. It came back testing this area. Came back up. We got in right here. 10:16. Got out of it 10:17 and 50 seconds. So got back out on that little move. And we made $12 on that one. So looking at this, playing this to break out, that's, I could somewhat see it for the pop that it gave us. Came up, pulled back with a top and tail. That's sellers. Now, if this was the other way around, and let's put this tail on the bottom, then I could see saying, okay, this has buyers in that candle. That's possibly going to keep pushing higher. But it had this bottom and tail with decent volume down there. If you look at the volume, you look at the next candle, which does have a little tiny bottom and tail, but it doesn't have the volume that the previous one had in it. So getting in right there was not really the best entry. We would have wanted to see this go up, come back and pull, and then keep going, letting us know that it's in an uptrend. Right here, not really a good entry, but we made $12. We made $12. Now, next trade. Now we're into the puts. Next trade, we took this one at 1027. 1027. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. I got the lower high. Came down. It kind of pushed the lower low a little lower. One thing I see right off rip, we trading right into the VWAP. So we trading right into the VWAP, and it hadn't came up and retested the area. So those are the two things that I see off rip. Let's see when we got out of this one. 1039. And once I do all this, I'm going to go back. I'm going to drop the 5 minute on there. Let's see what it looks like too. 1039, where we at? Bam, right there. Actually, let's do this. So this up here, this is the 15 minute. And some of these entries, I will say, were taken on the 15. Me and Evan, one of the gentlemen that hangs out in RT's chat room, we were kind of talking because he was trading Baba as well. This trade was not taken off of the 2 minute chart, and I'm glad I took a peek over here. So let's look at the 15 minute, which I also watch when I'm trading. So this came up, this left this bottom and tail. Or I'm sorry, this top and tail. Then we got this red candle here. And I got in when the next candle broke it. And that was the thought on that. That's why we took that trade. Wasn't paying any mind that this VWAP was on here because I was trading off of the 15 minute chart. Was trading it off of the 15 minute chart. And decent trade when you look at it on the 15. And that's why different charts can give you a different picture. Here we do see it rolling over, but here we see that, yeah, it's about to take a ride to the downside. And we're getting a retest off of this candle here. So it came up, retested, and then it went. So decent trade. Got out of it early. We were a little scared. Got out of that one as it was kind of pulling back up. And then we see the next candle. It just kept going. Consolidated, kept going. Then you finally get a pullback, keeps going. Pullback, keeps going. And we still don't see a low of the day flag there. So we know it kept going lower. But overall, good trade once I looked at the 15 minute. Looking at the 2 minute, let's look at it on the 5. We see it on the 5. Same thing. It's kind of breaking that area. Now we got the flag going down. Broke it. Only thing, again, you trading into the VWAP, which we see it did come back to it. We got in here, so we can give it a little room. Stop was up in there. And never stopped out. That 15 minute, strong. It busted right through the VWAPs. But like I said, we definitely left money on the table on that one. But overall, good trade. Like I said, once I looked at the 15. And then our last trade of the day. Last trade, we got in at 1041. Let's see where 1041 was at. It was that same thing that we were doing on this side. Like, yep, you got out early. And one of my thought processes this today, and I had said this to Evan as we were chatting, I was just trying to lock that profit in. I was just trying to lock them gains in. Lock it in. I can get back in the trade if it's going to continue down. And that's what we did there. Once we got out and we saw the momentum was still going down, got right back in it. Got right back in it. And this one, we kind of stayed in it and got what we wanted out of the trade. If you notice, you hadn't heard me say that in any of those previous trades, that I got what I wanted out of the trade. This one, we stayed in it. We see it came here, consolidated. We didn't let that deter us. Came down, pulled back. We didn't let that deter us. We had these areas clearly marked on the chart. As this came down to this area, now I'm like, all right, I done got what I wanted out of the trade. Let me get out of it. Made $100 on this one, 2 contracts. We paid 81 cents per contract, so we paid 162. We sold them for 131, so we made $50 off each contract. Good solid trade. We see that it did consolidate, push down, but look, it never really just came back up. Now we finally get the lower day flag down there. So that was it. Nice, solid day. And then, like I said, we did take one other trade in our main account. Let's take a peek at that one real quick. AUVI. I'll kind of show you why I took that trade. Looking at this one, it doesn't really show you anything. It is gapping up quite a bit, but I'm gonna show you the daily. And I had noticed this pre-market. Let's bring that over. So this was the daily chart. Hadn't really been doing nothing. And then we come here, we get a wide range igniting candle. Didn't really have much volume in it, but wide range nonetheless. Then we get this little resting candle yesterday. And then today it had gapped up in pre-market. So that was the 3-bar play that I was looking at. So I got in this trade at $2.62. $2.62 per share. And I got out of the trade at I want to say it was 302 that I got out of the trade at. So let's come over here and take a peek. Got in right up in here as this was pushing back up. And I got out in this candle as it was pulling back down. As I moved my stop up. Came, tagged me out at 312. Made 50 cents per share. So nice, decent trade. Good to see that that was the high of the day candle. So good exit. And then we left it alone. We saw that started setting lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That's a downtrend. So left it alone. But that's going to wrap it up. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap. I'm sure I got experienced traders out there that know most of this, but for those that don't know it, hopefully y'all can kind of glean how the market works. I love technical analysis, and that is what I usually use. I don't use too much fundamentals. I have a, right here, I got a box that'll give me the news. Usually you want some kind of news catalyst to be helping your stock. But as far as what the company is, what they do, their market cap, their this, their that, I really don't pay that no mind. I'm solely looking for a pattern on the chart that I know and recognize. And then I need other confirming signals, and then I'll take the trade. I need to get better on those confirming signals, as well as the things that's confirming not to get into it. Because the trade can have 10 good things and 2 bad things. And those 2 bad things could be like, no, don't take that trade. One of them being it looks perfect on a 2-minute chart, But then you look at the 15 and the 15 is telling you, no, don't take that trade. Go with that thing that's telling you, no, don't take that trade. So again, hopefully y'all enjoyed. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Peace.